The cold wind howled through the empty streets as James tightened his grip on the brown paper bag, the last meal he had left. His stomach growled, a painful reminder of how long it had been since his last decent meal. Just then, a frail man, shivering in the corner of an alley, caught his eye. The man's hollow eyes held a plea, one James knew all too well. With a deep sigh, James crouched down and placed the bag in the man's trembling hands. "You need this more than I do," he muttered. The man looked up, his eyes glistening under the flickering street lamp. "Thank you," he whispered. And with that, James turned and walked away, never expecting this single act to change his fate forever. James had once worn a uniform with pride, a soldier who fought for his country. But war had taken more than just his time. It had stolen his peace, his home, and eventually his will to keep fighting. PTSD haunted him, pushing him into the cold embrace of the streets. Every day was a battle, but without weapons, without comrades, and without hope. He had applied for countless jobs, only to be met with rejection after rejection. Now he had nothing left. No money, no shelter, just a tattered backpack and memories that tormented him. That meal had been his last possession, yet he had given it away to a stranger. And as he lay on a park bench that night, stomach empty and hope slipping away, he wondered if kindness was worth anything in a world that had forgotten him. The next morning, James awoke to the sound of footsteps. A well-dressed man stood before him, holding a steaming cup of coffee and a bag of food. The man knelt down, handing it to him with a gentle smile. "I owe you one," he said. James blinked in confusion. What?" The man removed his hood, revealing a familiar face. James's breath hitched. It was Keanu Reeves, the man he had fed the night before. "You helped me when you had nothing," Keanu said softly. "That means something." James was speechless. "Come with me," Keanu continued. "Let's change your life." James hesitated. Was this real, or just another cruel trick of fate? But as Keanu extended his hand, something in James shifted. Hope, faint but burning. Keanu took him to a hotel, paid for his stay, and arranged medical help. Over the next few weeks, James found himself opening up, talking about the ghosts that had haunted him for years. Therapy sessions began to ease his nightmares, and Keanu, true to his word, stayed in touch. One evening, Keanu handed James a slip of paper. "A job interview," he said. "Security at a studio. If you're up for it." James clutched the paper, his hands shaking. It had been years since he had been given a real chance. Weeks turned into months, and James was no longer the broken man on the streets. He had a stable job, a home, and most importantly, purpose. His experience in the military made him an excellent fit for security, and soon he became a respected figure in the studio. But the impact didn't stop there. With his newfound stability, James started volunteering at shelters, helping homeless veterans get back on their feet. He told them his story, and for the first time, people listened. He was proof that even at rock bottom, one act of kindness could turn the tide. A year later, James was working on a movie set when Keanu walked past him, dressed in costume for his latest role. Keanu paused, grinning. "You look good, James." James nodded. "I feel good, and it's because of you." Keanu chuckled. "No, man, it's because of you." James smiled, but before Keanu walked away, he added, "I have to ask, that night, why were you on the streets?" Keanu's grin widened. "Sometimes I like to walk unnoticed. Helps me stay grounded. That night, I was looking for something real, and I found it in you." James's heart pounded. The man he had selflessly helped hadn't been just another lost soul. He had been Keanu Reeves, testing the power of human kindness, and kindness had won. Moral: a single act of kindness can rewrite destiny. Give without expecting, and the universe might just give back in ways beyond imagination. Prompt: